Bye. You just give me a cue, Jonathan, when you're ready.
I just wanted to get us live on YouTube, but we are live now on YouTube. So I don't think you need any introduction, Denise, but you are the executive director of Sullivan Renaissance. I mean, I'll let you take over from here because, you know, that's really all that needs to be said.
Okay, thank you. So we have a small group, maybe since we're a small group, does everyone in the group know one another? It'd be kind of fun to just say hi, maybe. Do you want to, I'm going to do it based on how I see you on my screen. So Jonathan, you work with the library?
Yeah, I am the multimedia technician here at Ethelbert B. Crawford Public Library, Monticello. And I help with tech issues, you know, I'll help people with their computers or, you know, just anything electronic. I can help you with it pretty much.
Well, in my world, you're a god because I couldn't live without my IT department. Luckily, they're right like down the hall. I can help. And then I see Jill. I could be like that romper room lady, right?
Yeah, so I've used, called on Jonathan several times for help, and it's been great. And no, I don't know anyone, but I'm in Hurleyville. I work with a physical therapist as the administrator, so I'm learning how to file insurance claims. And so it's a learn on the job situation, but so far, so good.
And you're outside, smart.
Yeah, I'm in Woodburn, right by a river. It's gorgeous.
Good for you. And then I see Lynn Skolnick.
I am actually the president of the Ethelbert B. Crawford Library and a long retired educator in the county and one of Denise's teachers from not too many years ago. And my full-time job now is reader.
I love that. I love that. And then I don't see Ken, but I see Ken's name. I don't know if Ken, if you want to say hi or not, you don't have no pressure. If people are comfortable just being anonymous, that's okay too. And then I see Jean.
Hi, I'm Jean. I'm recently retired teacher from the Bronx and moved up to my summer house for the summer. So I'm up here and I wanted to learn about the area.
Oh, perfect. Well, you're in the right place. So is that all? I don't see, that's all that's all the people I see. Okay. So yes, I am Denise Japani. I'm the director of Sullivan Renaissance. I moved to Sullivan County when I was 8 years old and lived here through high school and eventually got out of here for a little while because I had always intended to leave. And then I came back. And did not intend to stay. In fact, I was still looking for any other reason I could go. But through a series of really interesting experiences, planted my roots here in Sullivan County. And so I now live in Bethel with my husband and my 8-year-old son. And I tonight am your tour director. So I have a hat to put on. And I was really not sure what approach to take in this type of a presentation, because we talk about our program a lot and the things that we do. And just briefly, Sullivan Renaissance is a community development and beautification initiative of the Gary Foundation. We've been working in Sullivan County. This is our 21st year doing the work that we do. And at the heart of our work is really working with volunteers on a very grassroots level. Our original mission was to enhance the appearance of Sullivan County while building a sense of pride and community spirit. That was why we were formed. And really it was through the volunteers that we've done some amazing things. Our mission these days is to build beautiful, active communities. And by active, we mean active in the sense of engagement, but also active where people can be active and be connected. At the heart of our work now is really a thing we call placemaking. It's a term that you may have heard before. So once we got through several years and now 2 decades of creating beautiful places or spaces, our mission started to shift to activating those places, turning spaces into places. And so rather than talk to you about all the grants and the things that we do, I wanted to give you a virtual tour of Sullivan County through the lens of Sullivan Renaissance. And this is not in any way going to capture everything, but it's just a few things that I think give you a sense of where we are as a community. I'll share my screen. So this, can everyone see my screen? It says a virtual tour of Sullivan County. You're in the right place. No seatbelt necessary. Feel free to get a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, a glass of wine, however you want to relax on this journey. We'll be taking you on for the next maybe 30 minutes or so. So Sullivan County, this is a nice map of where we are. And Sullivan County is it's just under 1,000 square miles of geography. Some people compare us to being the size of the state of Rhode Island. I've never actually fact-checked that, but I've heard that mentioned several times. We are bordered by the Delaware River. For those who live on the Delaware River, I just want to point out, they don't necessarily see the Delaware River as a boundary, but as a connection, so to Pennsylvania. We border Delaware and Ulster County, Ulster County heading toward New Paltz and Kingston and that area. And we also border Orange County. So we're sort of in the heart. If you look at certain maps, sometimes we're not included and then it looks like a big hole in the map. I like to say they're missing something. They're missing Sullivan County. We have the Delaware River. We have access to the Catskill Mountains, to our kind of north and I guess north, and then south or east of us, the Shawangunk Mountains. So there's a lot around us. Sometimes I say we're base camp for a lot of places. You can get to many amazing places in, through, and from Sullivan County. So that just gives you sort of a perspective on where we are geographically. And of course, we all know we're in the state of New York, right? We're in the state of New York, okay. So we're going to start our tour today in the town of Bethel. So Bethel is my town. Bethel is kind of central to the county in certain ways, and obviously known mostly these days for being Bethel Wood Center for the Arts and formerly the home of the 1969 Woodstock Festival. But there are some other things in Bethel that you may not know, and I would love to invite you to check them out. And one place is called the Forest Reserve at Smallwood. Smallwood is a hamlet within the town of Bethel, and the Forest Reserve is an area that at one time was slated for major overdevelopment. And through the work of a volunteer coalition, with some support from the Open Space Institute and the Delaware Highlands Conservancy, the property was saved. And then in partnership with the town of Bethel, a conservation easement was placed on the property that would keep it perpetually as a parkland. There are certain things that are allowed to happen there. And one of those things is this beautiful network of trails that have been put in. It's well over 100 acres. There are trails, and there's also a dog park. I'm not sure if my mouse shows up on the screen, but if you see there's a beautiful dog park there. There's an exercise loop. So you get to the Smallwood the Forest Reserve at Smallwood by going 17B to Ballard Road. And now we have beautiful signs and trail markers. And I just want to take you there. And here we go.
So I am here on location at the Forest Reserve at Smallwood in Smallwood, New York, part of the town of Bethel. A great place for all seasons. It's a beautiful day in June, and I'm joined by Bethel's supervisor, Dan Sturm.
Hi, good afternoon. How's everybody doing? I want to thank Denise for coming down, give me an opportunity to show you what's happening down here at the Forest Reserve at Smallwood. So if you would, just briefly, what you see here behind Denise is we have a beautiful field right here. We have a 1/5 of a mile walking path for anybody who can walk or jog along this path. We have
walking right now.
We have some people walking here.
Yeah.
You have some benches to sit on. You have a beautiful gazebo, so you can sit out here and enjoy what's happening outside. You have blueberry bushes all over the place. It's a beautiful scenic place to go. We do have garbage cans here that we have to monitor a few days a week. which we do. You have benches, you have a trail signage right over here. If you could see the trail signage right there. And then also, I'm going to take you in a second, if I could, over to the river, which is a beautiful spot. But I just wanted to highlight one more spot out in the field. If you go through these trail, through the field here, you go into the woods, and there's trails. There's about 100 acres worth of beautiful, scenic, wooded trails with signage that you can come and check out. It's a beautiful place to bring your family and your friends, have a picnic, and it's just a great place to go that a lot of people don't know about.
So that is the Forest Reserve at Smallwood, again, with a permanent conservation easement, protecting it for today and future generations. It is open to the public. The trails are labeled. They're in the process of marking them, but it's very accessible. And like Dan said, there's a little exercise loop. You can go out there, have a picnic, spend the day. And that's the Forest Reserve. So we're joined by our friend Rennie. This is Rennie the Rooster, and we're going to head up to Livingston Manor. And when I was growing up, Livingston Manor was like another country for me. And it wasn't, a place that really saw a lot of activity. It was a very quiet town. They call themselves small town, big backyard. It is one of the gateways into the Catskill Mountain Park, Beaver Kill Valley area. Amazing hiking. Again, I'll talk a lot about hiking because it's something I really enjoy and really love, but there's also many of these trails are very accessible for easy afternoon walks. So Livingston Manor is a Renaissance community, and it is all of the work done there. If you've been to Livingston Manor recently, especially on the main street, all the work of volunteers who put these beautiful flowers out every year and really take pride in their community and have definitely created a sense of place and have a little fun with it too. It's there's a trout parade. I don't think there's one this year, but there have been in the past. And this is just an example of how they've taken their community. And so in the summertime, they do these beautiful trout cutouts that are done by local artists and students. And then in the fall, they put up scarecrows. So the whole idea here is just kind of claiming this. Prior to this beautification, there had been a building there that had burned down, and it was a vacant lot. And so they've taken that space and really turned it into a focal point for their community. It's at an intersection, and there's, so it gives you a place of interest, and it creates a sense of place. And so Livingston Manor is in the Renaissance program this year, and they are looking for volunteers. All of this information will be available later on as well. But if you are interested in volunteering in Livingston Manor, we can connect you. Circle Park is in the town of Lumberland. And Lumberland is over by Glen Spey, Eldred, Highland area. And this project is really super special, especially in the Renaissance world. It was developed in 2005 in response to a community tragedy. A young woman, her name was Boo Bisland. The community lost a young person. And the way that they healed their community and honored her life was by creating Circle Park. So this is a Renaissance funded project, and they started with a vacant piece of land, only in the sense that there were no structures on it. It was wooded, and the town provided the space. And through the work of volunteers over the course of several years now, they've added to the project. They have developed a most amazing and beautiful gathering place where if you're a parent and you're driving your kid home from school, you cannot escape without stopping at Circle Park. Otherwise, there is total anarchy in your house for the rest of the night. So we took a visit out to Circle Park.
So we're on location here at Circle Park. which is a magical place. We're going to take a walk with the tour in the town of Lumberland, in Glens Bay to be exact, across from the Mackenzie Elementary School, and definitely a hub of activity at the end of any school day. So we're here at Circle Park, and I'm with Ian. Ian, can you tell us what you love at Circle Park?
Swings in the playground.
What else? There's a tree house. Will you show it to me? Let's see the tree. Cool. This is the most interesting tree house I've ever seen.
And then inside.
Check out the inside. Wow, I think I might be too big, but he can fit in there.
See?
Can you go upstairs in this treehouse too?
Yeah, see, come out on the porch. And go out this way, or downstairs.
All right, come on, check out the upstairs. Yeah. Going upstairs. Very cool. So you can see the whole of Circle Park from up here. Bocce ball, tetherball.
This is the inside over here, the main part.
Very
And
cool.
then, can I see the camera? I'm gonna go down the slide. So here
Okay, careful.
is the
Going
slide.
down the slide.
Just gonna go down the slide.
So that is Circle Park. Here's some more photos. So imagine this vacant land or tree, some trees, turned into this beautiful magical place. There's the tree house, full view. It's an incredible space. Always activity at Circle Park. And in the woods, they have a walking trail and a little amphitheater. They've done programming there. And over the years, they've stopped adding things to the park. And now they just, well, prior to COVID and hopefully soon again, do programming. So they have a great Halloween event. They have movies. They have, they do the Santa Express there. And so this is just different viewpoints of the park itself. If you have little ones in your life or you're just looking for a place, it's just an excellent day trip. And again, was built to honor the life of Elizabeth Boo Bisland, who was from that community. And Circle Park is a project in our Renaissance program this year. So if you're interested in getting involved, they're looking to do some work to repair and replace some things, including some stuff at the treehouse that needs to be taken care of. So here we are. Here's Rennie again. And Rennie is in this photo down along the Delaware River in Berryville. And Berryville is one of the communities that is part of this year's Community Impact Grant. So the Community Impact Grant is a program that is done with a community that has a huge impact into, I'm using that word again, but it's not a small project. It's meant to be very large in scope. So in the town of Highland, this project will create Delaware River access in 7 areas. Some of these accesses currently exist and they'll be improved upon, like the Barbara Yeaman Eagle Observation Area, which is on Route 97, and some are brand new. And so you see an aerial view here of the Berryville cul-de-sac. That's not actually done yet, but they are doing this pavement art where local artist During Warner is going to lead a community art project and install this beautiful image in the cul-de-sac. And then some other areas along the access where there'll be picnic tables and benches. And the idea giving you a sense of space of the Delaware River and then access to that river. So this is the New York area, and this is the Pennsylvania side. And these are all the different access points that will come from this project, which is a really exciting project this year. Another thing along the Delaware River, you may have heard of this. The Flyway by the Byway is an effort by the Upper Delaware Scenic Council, I think. yes, of Delaware City Council to raise awareness about the flight path of the monarch butterfly. And actually the Delaware River area and Route 97 are an important pollinator and monarch travel path. So they are trying to raise awareness about that. And they created this really great map with pollinator plants and other information about pollinators and the things that you can see along the byway that attract butterflies and other pollinators. So Sullivan County's history, for those who don't know, is rooted in a couple of things, but one of those was the fact that the O&W Railroad traveled through Sullivan County and was the major way for people to get to Sullivan County for many years. The railroad obviously has been closed down for a long time, and in a lot of places all over the country, actually, they have been working to turn their railroad, their trails into walking, hiking, biking, and horseback riding trails. And Sullivan County has been a little behind on that, but I'm very excited to share that there's an initiative right now, a countywide initiative, and we just established the Sullivan O&W Trail Alliance. And the goal here is to connect the rail trail from Mamakating to Rockland. So what that looks like, these are just some trailheads, just quickly. This is the town of Mamakating, has a beautiful trailhead. You can do a little walk there. It shows you the trail. Centerville Station Park, New York. This is in the Mamakating area. And Woodridge, Mamakating and Woodridge and Mountaindale are 3 trailheads. Hurleyville, if you haven't been to the Hurleyville Rail Trail yet, I think Jill is there close by. Oh no, she's in Woodburn now. But it's a beautiful, and this is the rail trail in Hurleyville is an improved trail because it's a partnership with the Center for Discovery, and they wanted it to be very accessible. Mountaindale, for 2 years in a row, did a peace walk. So they had installations of these beautiful peace signs along the trail. Then they've since been auctioned and sold, but it was a wonderful way to get to, again, activate the space and get people out and about. This is the Hurleyville Rail Trail. People, any Saturday afternoon, you will see this type of activity. Again, there's a whole movement behind trails and how they generate activity and economic development in communities, because people come with their bicycles, they go for a bike ride, then they get lunch, or maybe they're interested in living in a community because of these types of resources. And this is the rail trail in Parksville, and another beautiful leg of the O&W trail that most people don't know is there, and it's absolutely stunning with wonderful water features along the way. And so this kind of gives you the breadth of it. So we're down here, we're down here in Wartsboro, Mamakating area. And then the trail comes up and around Mountaindale, Woodridge, scoops back around to Fallsburg, Hurleyville, Ferndale, Liberty, Parksville, up to Livingston Manor. So it really does traverse the entire county as it did when it was a railroad, and you can see the solid lines are where the trail is improved or usable. And obviously Hurleyville has the big stretch. And currently there's a lot of resources and activity going into making this connection between Woodridge and going on to Hurleyville. When this is done, this will be 15 miles of rail trail. And this is a very active project right now. And where you see the dotted lines means it'll just be a little off trail. And the same thing coming eventually to Liberty. So it's really exciting. You can get a lot of information. There's a wonderful website that they just established. I'm going to try to take you there for just a moment. So the Sullivan O&W website has information about the trail, but also about the different communities. So trail communities, you click on there and you can learn about the different areas that the trail on your website. It might work better. We're doing a lot here with this. So again, sullivanow.com. So you can click on trail communities, and then it tells you what's going on that trail and what you can see and how you can get more information. So a very active way of getting people out on the trail, but also if you're interested in getting involved in trail work, it's a great way to connect. So that's ONW. Another great resource in terms of outdoor and trail activities is trailkeeper.org. This is just a general hiking website. This is specific to Sullivan County. I bet most people don't even know this exists. And there's beautiful rack cards tell you about it. If you want to go for a hike one day or a walk, just go to trailkeeper.org and it tells you about the trails, has the ONW rail trail, has easy trails, tells you about the region, things that you can do nearby. So if you pick a trail, you can figure out if there's a place for you to eat while you're there. Go to find hikes and click on there and it will take you, you can just click on any number on this map and it will tell you what the trail is, where it is, and give you information about that trail. So Cold Spring Road, and then here's the information about it. It's a very user-friendly, and I believe it's also mobile-friendly, so you can use it on your cell phone. So trailkeeper.org, check it out. Another thing about placemaking that we've been really excited about in Sullivan Renaissance, at least, is libraries. Libraries are, I've been saying for years, are making a comeback as community hubs. And you know this because the Ethelbert B. Crawford Library is amazing. The grounds are incredible. The Daniel Pierce Library in Neversink was one of our first Renaissance projects. I remember, I wasn't in the room, but I heard the story. What our program used to be based on a competition, and the gentleman, Phil Coombe, who was leading the program, said, we're going to win this contest, and they won it for many years. And much of that was reinvested into developing the Daniel Pierce Library. A project in our program this year, also looking for volunteers to help them work on their gardens. In Würzburg, the Mamakating Library, again, another new library building that's been working on some outdoor spaces. And of course, we are particularly fond of Ethelbert B. Crawford Library, Monticello, and all of the amazing things outside. We've been a partner with the library to create this space, and the vision that went into doing it was another example of how communities can be active, because there were community meetings to talk about what types of things people would like to see in the outside space at the library, with that beautiful courtyard and this reading area, and the future, hopefully potential outdoor activities and music. I know that was on the list, and just really something to be very, very proud of. And other libraries as well throughout the county that have just become the hub for activity. I'm sure everyone here has heard of, or maybe has had the opportunity to go to the Forestburg Playhouse. Now we're in Forestburg, New York, and Forestburg just outside of Monticello. And the Forestburg Playhouse has been in the Renaissance program for several years. Let's just take a quick visit and see what they have going on there at the moment. Let's see.
Hey everyone, it's Franklin Trapp. I'm right here in the middle of our award-winning gardens at the Forestburg Playhouse. Thanks to Sullivan Renaissance for all your support. These beautiful gardens are a very important part of our patrons' experience, and we are excited to celebrate our Diamond Anniversary season. Yes, it's our 75th season. Right now we have concerts out in the garden throughout the month of June, and then on July 6th, we open up the theater for an incredible main stage season of musicals, plays, and so much more. It's going to be an amazing summer. So come on out, enjoy our beautiful gardens, and have an amazing night of live entertainment. Have a great summer.
We love Franklin. He's great. So let's go away from here. How do we go? Here. Sorry, I'm going to have to be smarter than the Zoom or than the PowerPoint. Oh, here we go. Okay. So the Forestburg Playhouse has active Renaissance projects, as does the group, the Grateful Deadheaders. And the Grateful Deadheaders are a volunteer group in Forestburg that are working on several beautification projects, including their welcome signs and the Dove Garden that is in Forestburg. And so they are looking for volunteers as well, both locations. The Phillipsport Community Center is a little unknown and understated, but wonderful place down in Phillipsport, which is down between Summitville and Wurtsboro. And they have been in the Renaissance program for several years. What's great about Phillipsport is they've used this space to not only create beauty through their amazing gardens, but they have music there now. It's restarting there on Saturday evenings at 7 o'clock. And they partnered a couple of years ago with the cemetery just down the road. And there was a series of concerts. Now, cemeteries, you know, they're sort of underutilized most times of the day. So some places have leaned toward turning part of their cemetery into a park. And this Poplar Grove Cemetery down in Phillipsport was doing the Grateful We're Not Dead concert. And they did that once a year as a fundraiser for the Phillipsport Community Center. It's a brilliant idea to activate cemeteries appropriately with music and other activities as possible, if you can create that space. And so that's what they've done in Phillipsport. I'm going to take a little detour now away from some of these public spaces into some areas that are not quite public, but equally as impactful when we think about creating this next generation of people who love and care and want to be in Sullivan County. And that is the Catskill Edible Garden Project. The Catskill Edible Garden Project is a partnership between Sullivan Renaissance, Cornell Cooperative Extension, and Catskill Mountain Keeper. And our work together has been to build outdoor spaces that are mostly edible gardens, and to focus them in a way that gets young people outside and connected to where their food comes from and the experience of being outside. This was all pre-COVID, and really when COVID hit and schools were back in session, this became a tremendous resource for many of our schools who needed that outdoor space to keep their learning going in a different way. We have edible gardens in all except one school district. And we're really proud of that work. Monticello has edible gardens at almost every building. The high schools they sort of outgrow it, but there's one at the middle school. There's one at Cook, Chase, and the Rutherford School. So they're actively out there. This last one down you see in the corner here is a brand new build that just was completed last week at the Fallsburg, at the junior senior high school in Fallsburg. And not only do they build and plant and care for their gardens, but then they harvest from their gardens. And so they really get that experience of knowing where their food comes from. And when we do a harvest, pre-COVID and hopefully again, we've done a program called Chef in the Classroom, where we bring a professional chef into the classroom, and we make, in this case, we made from these carrots, we made carrot fritters with Rich Watt from Barrio Kitchen in Conneaut Lake. And it was really great fun. This is the Cook School courtyard, and that is the area where this carrot was grown. So this idea that you can know where your food comes from. This is Sullivan West.
Hi, I'm Colleen Emery, Program Manager for the Healthy Community Initiatives and Catskill Edible Garden Project, visiting the Sullivan West Elementary School garden. They are planning to do some square foot gardening, which uses peat moss and worms this year.
It's a great approach to managing a small garden space and doing a lot of really wonderful production. These gardens are not meant to grow for feeding everyone in the cafeteria, but just to give them a sense of it.
This is Sheila Schultz, garden coordinator at the Sullivan West Elementary School, who is doing the square foot gardening. Okay, Sheila, tell us a little bit about it really quick.
All right, the idea of square foot gardening is to plant as much as you can in a square foot. The soil is a special mix of vermiculite, peat moss, and compost. And it's very light, and a lot of things are able to grow in it. For example, carrots, you're able to have 16 carrots in a square foot, and you're able to have 4 Swiss chard in a square foot. And there's charts all over the place for how many square feet you can do. The kids made the square feet grids, and they had a lot of fun doing that. Tons of math going on here. And as you see, we had a STEM project that was created. by my 6th grade students. And each student has their own 4x4 bed, so they split the beds. And I did that, and I'm finding that they have complete ownership of it, and they plan on coming up during the summer to work in the garden. So I'm going to make sure that I have all the tools and seeds and everything here, and I'll just give them a little outline on what they need to do. And you know, they learned about, you know, the sun, because they have climbing things need to go so that they don't block the sun for the other plants. So they always had to keep that in mind.
I want to join your gardening club.
So that's just, the gardens are used in many ways. And as Sheila said, they're used to teach math, science, art at the Chase School in Wurtsboro. The teacher there, Lori Kilgore, she uses the garden for art. And the students are always out in the garden doing studies, and it's a really great program. So that was our little detour. Just in terms of, you know, understanding Sullivan County overall, I want to encourage you to check out the Sullivan County or Sullivan Catskills Visitors Association. And I will say that this particular publication that they do is not just for visitors. I have a copy in my car. I keep a copy in my kitchen. I have a copy in my office. It's an excellent guide to all things tourism and fun related in Sullivan County, from restaurants to art galleries. If you don't have this, you can look at it. You can definitely get it online. And this is what it looks like online. You can actually flip through it just like I'm doing right now. But there's nothing like having a copy of it like in your hands that you can drive around with. So it's a wonderful resource, and it shows you all of the wide breadth of everything that's happening in the county, and has a great map right in the middle. So you get a real sense of place from that. So that's the Visitor's Guide. The Visitors Association, we partnered with them in 2019, so 50th anniversary of Woodstock, and we did the Dove Trail. And so they're continuing that this year. They're adding, I think, 12 more doves to the Dove Trail. If you haven't taken a drive to check out the doves, you could totally do that. They have a passport program and a Dove Trail hashtag where you can enter into a contest. If you get to all 50 of them, you're entered into a drawing. And they have this incredible interactive map, which hopefully will load for us here. Again, you can find this on their website. But what I love about it is that you can take a tour of Sullivan County through the eyes of the doves. And when you click on a dove, like let's say, where do we want to go? Let's go to Long Eddy. I don't know how many people have been to Long Eddy. You click on Long Eddy and it tells you the dove, it tells you who the artist is, it explains the inspiration for the dove, and then it gives you all the things that you can do in that area, where you can stay, where you can eat, what you can explore. So it's divided by stay, eat, explore. And I don't think you have to be a visitor to appreciate that. I mean, if you click on Livingston Manor and you've not been up there in a while, again, it gives you all these places to eat, and there's even more since this was produced, and things you can do while you're there. So anyone can do this. If you have guests coming in, this is a perfect COVID activity, except obviously the restaurants at the time, unless you got it to go. But if you have guests coming, or you just are looking for a Sunday drive, you can go take a selfie with a dove and submit it, or just do the drive and check it off on your list that you saw the dove in Livingston Manor. And that brings us to, I want to take you on a very short tour of some of the doves. Now, I was doing this before and YouTube was telling me I needed parental permission. So hopefully it will work. Oh, look, it's going to work. Must be it likes us all. Okay, let's go on a tour.
Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly. All your life, you were only waiting for this moment to arise. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these sunken eyes and learn to see. All your life, you were only waiting for this moment to be free. Blackbird fly, blackbird fly, into the light of dark black night. Blackbird fly, blackbird fly, into the light of dark black night. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly. All your life, you were only waiting for this moment to arise. You were only waiting for this moment to arise. You were only waiting for this moment to arise.
That's not all of them, so definitely get out there and check them out. This brings us to the end of our tour for today. I do want to just let you know about our project spotlights that are found, that can be found on our website. Every year we do project spotlights. It's also a handy dandy booklet. You can download it or you can flip through it on the website. Maybe, you know, maybe I can't, but you might be able to. And it's broken out by the grants, the type of grants, and the community. So if you want to know if there's a project that you might be interested in or might like to volunteer for, or you just want to go check it out, because so many of these projects have been the years in making. So it's not, there's something to see. And you can use it as another little way to see the county. I have other resources I'm going to show you, and then if anyone is interested, I can, through Jonathan, get things to you. I mentioned the ONW website. There's also a map. It's a really great map. There's the Trailkeeper, which we talked about. Sullivan County Parks has a great brochure as well. We talked about the butterfly flyway on the byway. The county, the Dove Trail map as well, which you can get on the website, on the SCVA website. But this is almost like a keepsake piece because it has all the information, all of the artist names are in here. And I don't have a visitor's guide, but I would highly recommend that you get one. I probably loaned mine to someone. I'll have to get it back. So that is the end of our tour. I want to thank you. I also want to, two things. I want to let you know that next month, in July 7th, we'll be doing a tree walk at Walnut Mountain Park in the town of Liberty. Speaking of parks, Lisa Lyons from Morgan Outdoors is going to be leading that. And it should be really wonderful. If you haven't been to Walnut Mountain Park, it's again another incredible gem in Sullivan County. And so you just have to register for that. And I didn't include it in the program, but I think it's a really great resource as well to look at. On our website, we have a YouTube tab, and there's a video there that was done by our 2020 Sullivan Renaissance interns. And our interns are young people ages 16 to 20 who work in the communities of the projects that are funded through our grant program. They're paid to do the work that they do. But it was there, it was from there, since I started by saying I was a young person who couldn't wait to leave here, and I ended up coming back here. I think it's a great view because their experience as interns, learning about their community and where they come from, has changed their thoughts on if they would want to come back. or at least has made them feel like they come from a place that they can be proud of. So it's really just about getting to know your hometown so that you can be proud of it. So thank you for letting us launch this virtual tour of Sullivan County. I hope you'll get out and get in your car and take a ride.
This was terrific, Denise.
Thank you.
I really, you should, this needs to go on the road. You need to take this on the road. I learned things of which I was not aware, like the little park in Bethel. Who knew? And as one who is an avid user of the trail in Hurleyville, I really appreciate what you've done here today. I want more people to see this because this is terrific.
Thank you. Well, it was really fun putting it together, and I was telling Jonathan when we started that it's inspired us to add to this and do more, and maybe, you know, there's some things that are staples in the county, but in terms of projects, we might try to do something every year just to showcase like a little virtual tour of the work that is being done in the community. So yeah, it's great.
And I think that if nothing else, one of the wonderful things that the Sullivan Renaissance has done for the county, it has given people renewed faith, renewed interest in their communities. And so many of these projects provide people a means of coming together with their fellow community people and taking such pride in their communities. And I just think that and you see this everywhere. I'm so glad that this included from Livingston Manor to Mamakating, because it just shows the breadth of the project and the renewed sense of pride that so many people have in the county. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And the thanks goes to obviously the volunteers who've done the work, and we have a great team here at Sullivan Renaissance. We're very fortunate to have the generosity of the Gary family and the Gary Foundation to do this work. So together we've, you know, really figured out a way to, but I love the way you put that, you know, a renewed interest is something I think is.
And I would like to just add one thing, and I'm no means monopolizing here, but I can do that sometimes, I know. So I just wanted to say that during the pandemic, the last year and a half, one of the things we've seen, and we've seen it as strongly here in Sullivan County as we saw from New York City, so many of the nonprofit organizations, our libraries, our arts organizations have really gone above and beyond to make our lives whole during what has been a very, very difficult time. There was an article in yesterday's Record about how we need awe and wonder in our lives. And one of the great ways that we can get that is from nature and from art. And really it's, thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thanks, Lynn. Appreciate that. Well, it was my pleasure. And if you have any questions or need to connect with us here at Sullivan Renaissance, I'll drop my email in the chat, and then you can always reach me. But it's Denise at sullivanrenaissance.org. I hope it's still light out, so go outside.
I know, isn't that wonderful? Yeah.
That's the beauty. Thank you so much. Thank you.
And if anybody is interested, we have the Dove Trail maps here, and we also have the O&W Railroad maps here too.
Oh, great. Perfect.
Thank you.
You.
Good evening. Take care.
You too.
You will.
You too.
Bye-bye.